All right, Ultimate Hoops Nation, my name is Reid Nelson. This is Izzy Alkafas. This is This Week in Rec. Week 4, coming from Fridley. Pretty interesting night of basketball. The upset of the year would almost happen at halftime if we stopped games at the half. Barracudas would have beat the club. Now, we didn't get a chance to watch because we were playing, but they were talking in the locker room, and it felt they were mad that they lost, but it felt as kind of like a win a little bit. The club definitely took them for granted.
Yeah.
We didn't see it, but do you have any thoughts?
Well, there's a little bit of talk back and forth on the website. Nick picked the club to win by 15. I believe somebody on the club, an alias, said that the club's going to win by 30. And then it was kind of a couple of messages back and forth. And Nick said that he had game planned and he's confident in the matchups. And they went out, and I think they lost by 15 or 16.
I thought it was less, actually.
Less than that? Oh, they came back. I think they lost by 7.
Somebody said
they
7.
Lost by 7. That's right. They came back.
I told him, I was like, that's kind of a win.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, they definitely didn't come to play, and the Barracudas. Here's the thing: if they may not be the most talented, but they work hard. They come and they play hard every week. At least most of their guys do. So the credit's got to be given there. And whenever you have a team that works harder than the other, regards to discrepancy in talent, the game's going to be a lot closer than anybody would expect. So good for them.
Okay, so we added Nick Battaglia as a writer, which freed you up to do some other writing. So this week you did 3 small articles, sort of mid-season awards, if you will. So we'll start out with Most Improved. Number 1 on your list was Joe Steffler. So talk a little bit about his improvement, especially this season.
Well, it's all about opportunity with Joe. He's the same guy. He's a lumbering big man. He takes up space in the paint. He throws his body around, and he's the ultimate teammate. He never complains. He plays as many minutes as you give him, and he's just an overall super nice guy. So it's nice to see him playing on a team where he's able to get minutes and he's not being kind of pushed to the side by his teammates. They lost, last minute lost by quite a bit. Yes, I don't remember the final score. But Joe actually played pretty well. I don't know. I'll have to see how the other guys did. I can't remember off the top of my head to see kind of if he's dropped in the rankings. But based on this season, he's definitely improved. But there wasn't much anywhere to go but up based on his minutes that he got from them.
Well, and I mean he's stronger too. You can tell. Yeah. And I saw him in the fitness floor the other day. He's been working out.
Less minutes means more energy on the bench, you know.
Bench. Okay. Second award segment you wrote, and all 3 articles will be linked to this article here, so you can read those if you missed them this week. Most improved, or not most improved, but rookie of the season. We'll just say rookie of the year. It sounds better. The first person, he was actually number 3, was Jackson Hollatz. I had a chance to speak with Jackson of the free agents. Here's that interview now. All right, UH Nation, here with Jackson Hollatz of the whatchamacallits. Izzy had you ranked this week as sort of the third best rookie. So what are your thoughts on getting that distinction from one of our writers?
I think that's great. I've been working hard all year, and the results are finally coming in, so that's good.
This being kind of your rookie season with the free agent squad, generally not much is expected of the free agent squad. What are your expectations sort of for your own personal game and for the team?
Well, first day I got here, I looked around and I noticed, we had an overall good squad. We got a great big guy this year, and me and Ace are the guards, and overall we're looking good. We're moving well. Good. So do you feel as though there's a couple of players from that free agent squad that you think could maybe form a team down the road? Oh, definitely. I'm actually worried about one of our players getting picked up, and I don't want him to leave because he's doing us so well. So yeah, I think we could easily form a team here down the road coming up.
What are your thoughts, sort of, as a rookie, about the league in general?
Oh, I love it. I love how you guys make it as professional as possible. It's great that there's so many teams here, and the website's just amazing that you can look up someone's stats and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really good.
Well, thank you, Jackson. Good luck this season, and hope to see you more in the future.
All right, thank you.
That was Jackson Hollatz. He talked a little bit about working on his game and kind of wanting to be a part of the league, and I think he's excited to play, and I think he's hoping to catch on with a team or else start his own team next season. So good luck to Jackson moving forward. Your number 1 player, actually not a rookie, but a rookie to wreck, Jeff Stevens of the Red Devils. Talk about how his presence is going to help them without Mr. Van Ort this season.
Oh, he's just an animal. He is in the Kloby, Helmy guys that, big men that are really big, but they got soft hands. They can shoot. They can stretch the floor, and they take up space in the paint. And you can tell when a big man can shoot is when you look at their free throw percentage, and I think he's shooting close to 90% from the free throw line. He's just a really good offensive big man. I have to really watch him extensively to see how he is on defense, but it's typically hard for guys that big to be good outside of the paint. And I think he's a little bit older. I think he's maybe 40, 41. But it's impossible to stop guys like Helmy, Kloby, and a guy like Stevens when they get positioned down in the block. So their numbers will always be there as long as they commit themselves to being down low.
Can he put the Red Devils over the top?
Well, Van Ort is good in his own way. I mean, I'm not saying that Stevens is better than Van Ort. He brings a different type of game. He's a little bit more – he's not as offensively focused as Jeff is, but I think Van Ort's better defensively based on the small glimpse that I've seen. Does it put him over the top? No, I think it's kind of offset. I think they got a little bit better offensively, a little bit worse defensively. And now that Trey's hurt.
Yeah. Trey was wheelchaired off the court, but he was walking around on it
Did he
later.
come back? Paul Pierce? Or?
Well, he was walking at the end of the night. He didn't play again. So let's talk MVP, midseason MVP. Let's count him down from 5 to 1. I do not remember the ranking, but I'm assuming you do as you wrote it. Your number 5 MVP candidate midway through the season is who?
It was Michael Morris. He only played 18, 20 minutes yesterday, and his numbers weren't very good. It's going to be hard to keep a guy like that into the top 5. The Broncos are number 2, and they just pulled off another good win last night. Problem is nobody's really standing out besides Michael Morris, but he just got so few minutes last night that he can't be the MVP. He played less than half the game, and his team won. And it was... So I don't know. It's going to be hard to find a guy to put up there.
But, I mean, just walking away from the MVP chat for a little bit, isn't that the sign of a true team? Broncos, no real MVP candidate?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great. And I think the Avengers are kind of in that same mold. They got a lot of – they're spreading the wealth and everybody's getting involved. I think, like you said, that's the mark of a true team. And the Broncos are – I mean, they're the reason they're 1 and 2. I think right now they're the 2 best team-oriented basketball squads you got. And it's surprising because the Broncos, you look at that team and you're like, preseason, I don't know if that'll mesh, but it has so far.
Well, and I was actually going to bring up the Broncos after this, but we'll do it now. Abdi Mohomed spoke to Abdi about their win yesterday over the Blue Chips. Another good win for the Broncos. Here's Abdi. All right, Ultimate Hoops Nation, I'm here with Abdi Mohomed. Your Broncos off to a 4-0 start. Talk about your team.
This was probably going to be one of my funnest seasons. Stats-wise, I'm struggling because of Ramadan. It's been really tough, but playing team-wise is probably one of the best seasons I've had. Broncos are a very talented team with Rob, Adam, Mike. You've asked me before who's the most underrated player, and I said Jerry. I think Mike might be up there. Mike is probably, in my mind, he can be the best scorer in rec.
How does the team beat the Broncos?
Just have a good game. We go after you defensively. We got Calvin, Adam, who pressure people, myself. We also got bigs, and then we got enough players that can kind of calm us down, and get us situated at certain times. But I don't know how you can beat us, man.
Is Adam one of those players that can calm you down?
Nah, it's mostly Rob and Todd.
Okay, so before we know it, it'll be playoff season. You guys are heading towards a high seed, likely a first round bye. How deep, honestly, can this team go?
To be honest with you, I think we can win it all. It's going to be between them and the Killer Bees in my mind, but we're real deep, man. We haven't played a complete game. I sucked the first 3 weeks. Tonight, I came back to life, but Mike didn't shoot much tonight. Rob didn't shoot much, so it's like we got pieces that whenever some of us struggle, the rest can pick it up. So it's really, I think we're really a dangerous team, man. I don't think anybody wants to play us.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. That was Abdi Mohomed. Now, as I recall, the Broncos had a good season last year, right? 6-2 maybe.
Might have been 5-3.
5-3. Well, it's, you know, I mean, they're doing the little things now, and they do look like a real team, and it's going to be really interesting to see. I don't necessarily see him in the championship game, but I could definitely see him in the Final Four. But then again, who knows? You know, who knows what's going to happen? So,
What are the odds?
I don't remember what they were, but I probably might want to retool them. So, number 4 on your MVP ranking was who?
The legend of Zhao Li.
Playing right now?
If you haven't, YouTube him. It's just kind of fun to watch, anyways. It's a cool little thing that he's got on YouTube. They now have 8 players, but losing Trey, maybe it's kind of a blessing they went to 8, because if Trey's out for an extended period of time, Zhao's a great guy to plug in. He's coming off the bench for him, and I think that's good for that team. Keep it how it was last season. They won a championship, and then bring him in as a sub for some of the offensive players as they get tired. And there's no better, player at generating offense than Zhao in spurts. So he's always going to be an MVP as long as he's playing in this league, because the guy does not miss. Zhao does not have 3 for 15 games. It just does not happen.
Number 3 was?
His teammate, Chris Maher, who, as I said, turned back the clocks a little bit on those knees, and he looks like a different player. A little bit more energy. He's knocking down his 3, which he hasn't been knocking down recently. I think last season he actually had a decent season, but he wasn't as involved in either league. I think he's back in business. Maybe the one night is helping him, but he's putting up some great numbers.
Number 2 is?
Number 2 is Josh Hoyle.
Josh Hoyle.
Right hand Hoyle. He gave me a little flack. He said it was a backhanded compliment. I don't mean it that way. It's a true statement. Josh Hoyle is not necessarily fast. He's not necessarily strong. He's 5'7", 160, 155, whatever, and he only uses one hand on the basketball court. If you cut off his left arm, he would still be just as good. I mean, he'd have to work a little bit, but he'd be just as dynamic, I think. And if he thinks it's backhanded, it's not. It's just an observation that's accurate, and it's extremely impressive that he is that good when you have all these other players that are extremely athletic and talented in their own right, but they just don't put it together on a basketball court. Hoyle does not have bad seasons. He has bad games, but he does not have bad seasons. At the end of the season, he's always up there, and nobody really gives him enough credit just because of his stature, and he's not the sexy player. He kind of does everything ugly, in terms of basketball. He's not that smooth basketball player. He's smooth when he goes up for his finger rolls. Those are nice. But I think a lot of people don't give him the credit he deserves because of, they pick on him defensively and so on and so forth. But James Harden was an MVP candidate, and if you just type in YouTube James Harden defense, after you type in Legend of Zhao Li 1 and 2, you will see that James Harden plays no defense. So, well deserving of 2. I could see him winning the MVP as long as he keeps going with the points that he's putting up. I don't know how he did tonight, though.
Number 1, Kevin Chase.
Kevin will never have a bad season because he's not offensive. So he'll always show up. He'll grab 10 to 15 rebounds. I don't remember about a year ago, he used to play for the Bulls and I think in both leagues. And if anybody remembers his stats, he was only grabbing like 6 rebounds a game. And it's almost like he had a dip in his career, and now he's back up there, grabbing 13 rebounds in both leagues. He's shooting over 50% in both leagues. He cleans everything up in the paint, and he's just so damn long. It's scary how long he is. He makes everything difficult for opposing players. It's kind of like Paul Ferber. I've played with them both, and they're both extremely similar. The only difference is Chase can play a little bit better offense, and Ferber requires the ball a little bit less, or wants the ball a little bit less. Other than that, they're so good at protecting the rim, and he's well deserving of the MVP if he gets it. I don't think he's ever won it, but he's always up there for the discussion.
Well, it's the midway point of the season, end of week 4.
Real quick.
We'll come back next week.
Real quick. The articles, I did the articles and it was supposed to be one full article. However, the UH brass decided that breaking it up into 3 and making it look like a joke wanted me to, I guess, I don't know. You wanted it to be 3
separate discussions.
Yeah, but you didn't tell me that. Now I have these 3 mini articles. Looks like it's amateur. It's amateur hour here at Ultimate Hoops.
We know you're not an amateur. We know that you're top notch. So thank you very much for that last amateur bit of work. See you next week.